Hi, I'm Jasmine Sky, and today for F-Stop Lounge, I'm interviewing Rachel from Rachel Vanoven Photography, all the way from Indianapolis, USA.
Yes.
Beautiful newborn and family photographer. Everybody loves her, and I can see why.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out from the Baby Summit to have a quick chat with me.
Yeah.
And answer my questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so starting with my favourite 5, what was your career path? How did you get into photography? How did you become a full-time photographer?
I started photography like most moms. I was just a mom with a camera.
Yep.
And my sister Karis was more interested in photography than I was, and she was the one that was telling me, you need to get this Nikon D60, and just nothing about lenses, just the camera. Mm-hmm. And she wanted it, but she didn't. She lived in an area where there was just no photography, no nothing, and I was in Indianapolis. So she helped me and kind of showed me like how to take pictures, natural light, outside, and then I put together a portfolio for my dad, and I got the Nikon D60, and I opened shop. And ironically, Karis is now this phenomenal photographer, so we're both photographers now, but that's how I started, and photography was my sister.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And is she younger or older?
She's my older sister.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yep.
that's nice. All right, so what's your favourite lens gear that you can't do a shoot without?
Well, I just got the Sigma Art 50 1.4, mm-hmm. And then I have a Nikon D4 body. But yeah, I guess it would have to be that lens because I have the 35mm from Nikon as well. But for newborns, I like the 50 the best, so that's my favorite.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a common favourite with us newborn photographers. Best advice that you have been given in your career?
My parents, when I first started, because I haven't really gotten advice. I've never really, asked for it. When I started photography, I didn't feel like critique forums existed, or if they did, I didn't know about them. Mm-hmm. But I remember the first shoot ever, my dad was like, her eyes were not that blue, like that's unnatural. Or my mom would, the horizon was tilted. My mom would say like, it looks like the baby's sliding off the edge of the world. Maybe you should, make sure your horizon's straight. So in the beginning, my parents were really harsh.
And they're honest.
And they hate when I bring it up. So I'm sorry, Mom and Dad, if somebody sends you this. But that was what made me have a better eye. And my mom's an artist, so I think it bothered her when I was doing things technically wrong. But really, besides that, they just really encouraged me. And I think I'm one of the people that do better by people pointing out what I'm doing right, and then just keep doing that. Because the flaws, when my parents would point that out, I was just like, my world is over, I'm never doing this. But I did do it, so.
Yeah, you kept going.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so what other photographers have been the biggest influence on you throughout your career?
In the beginning, I feel like everyone, it was Baby is Art. That was who everyone followed, and I feel like nobody wants to admit it, but that they were huge. That was they were the ones who really got this whole newborn genre started, and so that's who I followed in the very beginning. It was on Flickr, and then I fell in love maybe 5 years ago with Sally Mann's work, and for her, I felt like newborns when I started, it was very clean, very bright, very colorful, very smooth-skinned babies, with they would even have catch lights on their lip bubbles, you know what I mean, very clean. And then I just fell in love with her work, and especially the really gritty, dirty stuff. And I thought, how can I translate this into newborns? And I go back and forth. I definitely do love color, and I love brightness, and I love perfectly lit things. But there's definitely a grittier version of my newborns that I just love. I love photographing that. And then my personal, my kids, that's how I definitely lean towards that style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what, in your opinion, makes a good photograph stand out from the average?
I think if it makes you feel something, I think that it doesn't have to be technically right always, but it definitely, the lighting has got to either be intentional or a beautiful accident, I guess.
Yep.
But for me, that's what it is emotion and lighting.
Absolutely.
Movement.
Very good. Okay, so your honesty with talking about your struggles and joys of being a foster mum is really beautiful. How does your personal life affect your business?
Oh, it definitely, like, just with my youngest, Josie, I realized that photography...
And not just a foster mum, a mum as well, obviously.
But, well, it goes, but it led into it because I wouldn't have ever done fostering if I hadn't prioritized my life. If I hadn't realized I only want to shoot 1 or 2 times a week, I don't want to be doing any more than that ever. And I want to outsource, my editing and outsource my answering emails and all of that because I want more time with my kids. And to do that, that is when I raised my prices because I couldn't work less without still making as much. And that was when I really started valuing my time. And so my kids have made me realize how much I do value my time and I don't want, to be at home with them looking at the back of my head. And so then with my boys, the foster boys, it's just been great for me to use photography, which is such a fluffy thing, at least to me. I know some people, it is like their soul, and I love photography, but my soul is my family. And so to be able to use something fluffy to me and fun and whatever, to have a platform to teach others about how there are so many foster kids who need loving homes, and to be able to share that story and their parents' bravery it's been great. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's really beautiful, and I think that's definitely what a lot of people notice in your genuineness, and kind of like you just can see how passionate you are about it, and it really comes through. And I think then other people would probably think, oh wow, like that, I hadn't even really thought about that, but this person who's in the limelight is doing that, and it's really special.
Well, I think there's 2 different categories of photographers. I think that there are there are moms who just want to be moms. And be a photographer, but they really want to be moms. And they think that they have to just be the photographer. And it's okay, I'm a working mom now, but I don't want to be a working mom. I want to work 2 days a week. I want to work Monday, Tuesday, get out of the way. And maybe Wednesday if I have extra editing to do, but then I want the rest of the week for my kids, and that's not a normal job. That's not prioritizing photography first in my life. And so then I think there are people who, either, they don't have kids, or they have older kids, or, they were already working full time and they just want to work full time, whatever it is, there's 2 different groups. And I think that the people who are in the group where they just want to be stay-at-home moms still and have a successful business, I think that they tend to want to know how I do it, and that's. And then there's people who don't care because they think I do it wrong, probably.
No, I don't think there is a right and wrong if it works for you. Do you know what I mean?
And that's my belief, definitely, because I'm happy when I work a lot, but I'm also happy when I don't work. So I think it's just kind of being happy about where you're at yourself more than anything.
Yep. No, that's good. Okay, so what's the best decision you have made in your business to date?
The best decision... piggybacking on that, probably cutting back on it, because cutting back on photography and doing 2 shoots a week and raising my prices is what made me love photography again, because I wasn't working my butt off for a small return. Instead, I was working, my butt off for those 2 clients, or just 1 client a week. And they were getting better quality images, and I was making more money, and I was enjoying it because I could devote more time to them.
Yep, so absolutely. Excellent. Okay, so if you could work with anyone, who would it be and why?
Can there be like categories, like work side by side? Any day of the week, I'll pick my sister Karis, because she's my assistant at home, and the more she's growing as a photographer, she's my favorite person to shoot with. Like a fantasy photographer to work next to?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Probably Sally Mann, because I just want to I would totally fangirl probably over her, because she's just so cool, man. Like, she just does whatever she wants and does not care, and I would never be like that. And so I think that's why I like her so much, is because I like her style, but her personality is just cool, and I'm not.
I think a few people would argue with that.
Well, she doesn't seem like she gets flustered. I get flustered a lot.
I think. No, whatever, it works for you though. Yeah. It's kind of like almost a part of your It's a part of
my
your
family. My
thing,
family
like-
is all they. That's what they
Yeah.
all. They're like, oh my gosh, Rachel, like really, like this is like what you're putting out there for the world to see. But
And in that tone, like I was having a discussion the other night about, you know, putting yourself into your business and, you know, personalizing what you put, you know, on Facebook and whatever, and really kind of, you know, bringing yourself into that. Do you think, I mean, I was reading your blog the other day, I'm not going to lie, because I was doing my research, and I was like, wow, she's really just being honest and like letting it all hang out, which is great. You know, I think that's, you know, really admirable, but it's like, do you ever kind of teeter on like, have I gone too far? Do you know what I mean?
I don't, because I guess for me is I look at like celebrities, if you're going to compare like being out there, and you look at photographers, and there are different types of celebrities. You know, there are, you know, people who are out there and everyone knows about them, and they've been, you know, they're doing fine, and they're going to continue to do fine, and they're, you know, they grow old or whatever, like they don't like crash and burn. And then there's people who are very private and very, you know, it's all about, you know, the work. It's just like a job for them. And so for me, like photography and my life are so intertwined. My friends, I know, you know, there's people say don't become, you know, friends with your clients or whatever. And a lot of my clients are my friends, and then, you know, my friends are my clients. So it's all together. And I love when my clients get there and they know who I am. And I don't want to book somebody I don't want to hang out with for 4 hours of my precious time. Like I want someone who is relaxed and chill and not hyper, and you know they're okay with my kind of photography and my package. Oh, they're okay with my package. Can you hear me? I'm so tired.
That's staying in.
Yeah.
Sorry
It's
about
okay.
that.
I said worse.
We're a little bit tired.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, so you have mentored photographers all over the world. Tell me about your ebooks. What do you cover in these, and where can people find them?
Well, what they did is I teach, but I very rarely leave Indianapolis because it's just logistically it doesn't make money, and I don't like to leave my kids. So back to the kid thing. But so I made an ebook for anyone who had taken my workshop, because I so passionately believe in educating people, and I really want them to get better and to change their lives. I don't want them just to come to my workshop, because a lot of them, it was when it was the point where people would be like nervous to meet me, and they would go home and be like, I was just so flustered, like shooting next to you or whatever, and there were all the, you know, I couldn't focus, and I was just so excited, or I didn't remember things, and they'd be asking me. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put together like some videos, and I'll offer it like with my workshops, you know, not offer it, but just give it with my workshops for them to go home. And then there was the first night that I talked about like doing these videos, somebody from Africa, a photographer from South Africa, was like, can I buy this? Like, nobody comes here. Can I please buy this? And I was like, no, like, I don't want like random people listening to me, you know, teach. And then it spiraled. So I actually, to my knowledge, made the first e-workshop ever, like created. Well, first it was a newborn posing guide, which was like laughable. There were just like still pictures, and I just like described in paragraphs like how to do it, because the technology, it was like 2008. Like I don't even think you could do, I mean, you couldn't do files that huge, and you couldn't download it like we do now. And so then I made the first e-workshop, which had video, and nothing like that had ever existed before. And then I made a family e-workshop because people wanted that. And I just made the second newborn e-workshop, which is more of like, it's interactive, like it has way more videos, and it's all voiceover, like I'm explaining what I'm doing, like as I'm doing it. It's so cool. And then we have a group on Facebook, and the people that have gone in there and like moved on, like some of them teach now. It's just cool. It's a very, everybody wants everybody else to succeed in that group, and it's neat. So, and I'm actually, after this, I told you I had dinner tonight. There's a bunch of girls who bought the e-workshop who are in Australia, who I'm meeting up for dinner. So it's cool. Like, I love them all. Like, I want them to succeed. So
yeah, that's great. Oh, well, thank you so much for taking the time. It's been a really long 3 days. It's been amazing 3 days. And I know how tired I am, so I can only imagine how you're feeling. But so I really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll definitely put the link for your
the e-workshops.
Where you can get it from.
For sure.
And thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you guys next time.